Good morning everyone, welcome to Shooting for Scratch. My name's Pete and it's Tuesday the 27th of June 2017. Down here at Dan's studio again for my 9th lesson, and today it's the big one, the driver, the big dog, the one we're all looking forward to. Now this lesson obviously is geared specifically towards me, and I've got an awful lot of questions based around the changes that I've been making in my swing about the stance, the grip, where the ball should be placed in the stance, whether the swing stays the same as with an iron, whether you're hitting down on the ball, up on the ball, all kinds of different things. We'll be talking around driver setups, hopefully be looking at some numbers as well. Hopefully you find it interesting. Please do stick around, loads of really good information in this video. It's probably going to be a bit of a long one, but I hope you don't mind if the information's good. Okay, so the driver that I currently use at the moment is a Titleist 910 D2. It's a little bit old school, but up until now I've seen absolutely no reason to change it. It's got a custom shaft in it. It's the Aldila Rip Phenom, 70 gram, 3.2 of Torx, and it's a stiff shaft. And I use the lambkin grip with 2 layers of tape on it. Now, this driver has been cut down by 1 inch, and that was predominantly to give me a little bit more control because yes, you could argue I might lose a little bit of distance, but equally, if I can hit the sweet spot a little bit more often, then over time, on average, that's going to equal better overall distance with the driver. This Titleist is set in the A1 position, that's the standard position, so it's a little bit more fade biased, because I don't like the face to sit too closed at address. I like it to look a little bit more open, especially as I'm trying to take the left side of the course out to play. I don't like to have that feeling that the face is closed, and that's going to exacerbate any problems on the left-hand side. Obviously, you're going to have some sort of mid to higher handicap golfers who maybe suffer with a slice or a bit too much fade, and they prefer the face to sit a little bit more closed, and that's a confidence thing. Is this shoe spray?
Yeah, it's foot odour spray.
Foot odour spray.
Okay, so you tell where you're feeling comfortable hitting from it.
Right, so I suppose really my first question then for me, and for anybody else,
yeah.
The height that I have the ball teed up, I tend to have it quite high. That ball is sitting more than half the ball above the crown.
Yeah, are you comfortable with that?
I'm very comfortable with that because it gives me more height, and I tend to find I catch that sweet spot above the middle of the club face, sort of between the middle and the top more often. That gives me a higher, lower ball spin flight.
Okay.
I tend to have my ball in line with my left heel, the inside of my left heel.
Yeah.
Is that the right position? Okay. And again, should my arms be hanging down straight, or should they be a little bit more away from my body?
They'll naturally just be a fraction further away. Not a lot, just a tiny little bit.
Okay. And again for me, the body position with my irons, my spine angle, I see a lot of people stand more upright with their driver.
They will do because it's further away from them.
So this is what I was wondering, do you maintain your spine angle and hold your arms further away, or do you stand a bit more upright to keep your... This is where I'm stood on the tee sometimes and I'm like, I'm not quite sure if I should be bent over more with my arms away or...
Okay, so your arms will be a tiny little bit further away, but your spine angle will change with each club. So you'd be more upright with a driver than you will be with a wedge.
Right.
So with a wedge you'd be a lot more bent over. With a driver
so as you go through the clubs, as they get longer, you tend to stand upright a little bit more.
Which is why the swing plane with those clubs will get a little bit shallower and flatter around the body.
Okay, so when you're at the driving range, or when I'm at the driving range with my driver, I'm expecting to see a slightly flatter swing.
It will be flatter, but your left arm should still be in the same proportion to your shoulders at the top, i.e. across them.
Yeah.
But the arm, it's on the shoulder, but see where the shaft angle is at the top?
Yeah, flatter.
Okay. So if I go, the left arm is still across the shoulders, there's the wedge. The arm's still across the shoulders, but the club's steeper.
Yeah.
Because I'm nearer to it, my spine angle's more forwards. Because my arms are nearer, the plane's going to be more up.
Right.
But the arms are still in the same position relative to the shoulder at the top.
Because in trying to get this sort of steeper wrist set and everything like that, I've almost been feeling like I've been getting really steep with my driver. So
That's probably why you've been getting these low cuts.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Let's have a look.
And the takeaway on this, so just still talking about the setup just for a minute for me then.
Yeah.
Should the shaft be should I be holding the shaft forward with the face kind of more square like this?
No, backwards with the hands.
So backwards with the hands so that you're actually hitting up on it.
Well, your hands want to be, for every club in the bag, your hands want to be in the same position relative to your body. So if you're hitting a wedge, the ball position goes back, the hands will still be opposite, let's say, the logo on the left side of your chest, of your shirt, jump or whatever.
Right.
Okay? So if I went like this, if you have a look, let me look a second. If I was to hit the driver, the ball's going to go forward, but my hands are still there, aren't they?
Yes.
Opposite the logo there. Okay? So that will mean that the club is actually angled slightly backwards, but if you sit this driver on the floor, kind of right there, that's it sat flush on the floor, where's the middle of the handle relative to the leading edge?
Behind it.
So that's how it's designed to be. So if you're going like this and trying to force your hands forwards, you're opening the face and deal often, aren't you?
Yes.
So now everything's out of position relative to my body. Here everything's in position.
So hands in front of logo, regardless of what club you're
In this
using.
same, that's just a rough guideline reference point.
Yeah.
So that's what I would use it as. So just set up to it now, mate.
Okay, so if you or the camera were a mirror at the driving range, I'm expecting to see the handle of the club a little bit behind the head of the club.
Yeah.
Something like this. Because obviously I'm interested to know if my setup looks good, if my grip looks good before I even begin. I want to know that this is the position that I should be behind the
I think
ball.
you're a tiny little bit too far away from it.
Okay. So my arms are too far out. Okay. So that was a real low one out of the heel.
So right, hands tend to start to control the first move away a bit too much. See, the hands actually get away from your body, so it's not a one-piece takeaway here, is it? So you measure that distance between the butt of the club and your legs right there.
Yeah.
That's getting wider here.
Yeah.
Club then gets behind your hands. Club head behind the hands.
Yeah.
Take this to the top. It then gets long. Okay, you've not got enough hip turn.
Okay. Now, one question that I did have for you was, in looking at people like Rory McIlroy and so on, the club head really looks as if it is outside the hands on their takeaway.
Yes.
Is that what we're aiming for here?
And the club head should stay outside your hand most definitely, but not with your hands flexing away first move. Because you've not necessarily coiled a lot there, have we?
No, and yet the club's really whipping around back behind me.
Behind you. 4.6 degrees down on it, B.
Yeah, and this is what I found has been happening. I'm hitting down on the driver, and it's not what I used to do at all.
So it was Raw a few years ago. So, okay, look where he is, the back swing. So there's his left shoulder. There's yours. So from the outside of the ankle to the top of the back, look how much more behind the ball he is. Outside of the ankle, top of the back. You're nowhere near as behind the ball, are you?
No, nowhere near.
So he's going to be able to, on the way down, from there, hit a lot more up on the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas you, the body's gone forwards.
Yeah.
So look at that. You're hitting that like a mid-iron.
Yeah, and backing out of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that pinched up chin and left shoulder again.
So, right.
So still a lot of work to do on that. And in terms of my stance, that should generally be a little bit wider than an iron, but still not so wide that you can't actually turn.
Exactly. Okay. Where did you get the ball on the face on that low heel?
Yeah, really low left heel.
Okay. Okay. So right, make a practice back turn to the top for me. Okay, so you feel a lot more behind the ball there.
I feel like I'm miles away from the ball.
Okay, there we go, back at the start. Okay, turn that chest first a minute. Feel it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Absolutely miles away.
Chest and hips first move turn, don't you do that? That's way better. Okay, try one like that for me.
Yeah, because with trying to get this early wrist set, I've really just been sort of snapping the hands up. One thing that I used to do on my takeaway, one thought that I had was almost dragging the club along the ground as I go back away from the ball.
Yeah.
Is that a valid sort of swing thought or feeling?
I'd rather you just talk about, not more so much about the club head, but about you with your shoulders. Much better.
That was low left heel again without even looking at it. Same place, even lower and left up.
As you get behind the ball, head's still going a long way forward.
Okay, so once I'm back in that better position, leave the head there.
You've got to start down lower body first. And what else we've got is, if anything, we need this upper body leaning back this way a little bit more at address, because your shoulder's too far forwards there.
Okay, so I need to set up almost as if I want to sort of be looking
Hit
at the
ball.
underside of the ball.
Yes.
So really want to be sort of loading up. This is exaggerated potentially, or is that
That's actually pretty good, that.
okay? Because that feels almost, you know, it's like
Yeah.
I'm sort of looking at the ball like this.
So have a look. Lean that body to the right. Okay, stay there for a sec for me. Watch your screen now. See your upper body leans to the right. The whole body's leaning that way, isn't it?
Is that what we want?
Yes.
Yes.
I actually think you've got the ball too far forwards. No, there you go, that was better.
Now that's quite a lot of backward shaft lean, isn't it?
For you, yeah. But for me to look at, that's pretty standard.
That's good. Right, good. Okay, fine. That's all I want to hear because
Okay, lean your upper body a little bit more. Okay. Right,
the weight really feels like it's on the right hand.
Okay, don't worry about that. Just lean your upper body like so. And then this one. Right, okay.
Now that felt like I got a much higher ball flight, and there we go.
Right, so
Centred.
you've hit up 1.1 degrees on it.
So still not hitting up that much.
That's pretty good, 1.1. Don't forget, you were 4.6 down.
Yeah, true. True.
You just
Massive.
changed 5.7 degrees, you know. Give a dog a bone. Right, but you know, what I'd be saying now is, potentially, you know, let's see what happens over the next few shots, but that one's had a lot of spin. You've hit it out the middle, but it's spun at 3,800.
So that was what, like a sort of 10-yard cut starting off down the centre target line.
You should be getting optimal in that one, 286. Whereas what we got there was we had 246. Now, we're to the contact point in the face, it wasn't that high, was it? Let's see where you sweet spot, where you hit it.
Just left of almost dead centre.
I think people misunderstand it. I think it's just slightly heel
It's just
side.
slightly heel side, isn't it? Actually,
But I don't think up here is the way you want to be in it.
Right. Okay.
That's a misconception.
So
No.
where it is height-wise on the face, that's perfect.
I think so this is a 9-degree driver. He's 9 degrees in the middle.
Yeah.
More loft up here.
More up the top, isn't it? Yeah.
And you know, don't forget, between here and here, you don't have to be much out for it to get really high in the launch and the spin. You're not going to get that much gear effect kicking the ball back down.
No. Okay. So ball speed 152, smash factor 1.5.
Okay, so smash factor is really good. Ball speed, good, we've gone off that. Okay, dynamic loft means that's too high and spin really, really high.
I actually used to have the driver set at 8.75. I actually dinked it up 0.25 to 9 degrees, just kind of on a whim, because I was getting these lower ball flights.
Well, let's be realistically honest, 0.25 of a degree
It's not going to make much.
static loft's not going to change your dynamic by 5 degrees, is it? No. Okay, so that dynamic loft needs to come down to about 12.
Right.
Right? So I don't know whether that's the shaft, or the head, or you.
My driving was beyond question of a doubt the best part of my game.
Okay, so let's get it back there then. Yeah. Okay.
But then obviously it's dropped off since we made the swing changes, because that was the low, flippy around me. I'd come from the inside, and I just had it down to a T. I had the knack for my driver with that old swing.
That swing playing way better with the driver there, by the way. I think you've got way too arms in picking it up like an iron rather than turning.
Okay, fine. So I was trying to set the club too much with my hands as opposed to this one piece takeaway.
Well, you just didn't have any turn with the driver.
Okay. Grip and everything good?
Yeah. How did that feel?
That felt solid. It was similar position to the last one, a little bit lower and a little bit more heely.
Yeah. So 3.5 degrees up on it. Spun it at 2.9. That's pretty good. Dynamic loft's come down a little bit. Again, smash factor 1.5. That was in the middle of the face, wasn't it?
Pretty much, just low and left, but not too far off the middle.
Smash factor 1.5. So getting behind the ball is massive there, Pete.
Yeah.
Now the lower body's starting to come through. Have a look at this. That backswing is miles better than it was at the start. As you want at the start. Just all looked arms, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because now it looks like it's coiling and the hips are turning.
And that's why I asked you the question about whether it should be more like an iron swing and standing more upright and everything, because I was just unconfident that I should be swinging it in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
It feels better being able to swing it slightly flatter.
You should swing it flatter.
Yeah.
Everyone swings the driver a bit flatter, honestly.
Yeah, and I was trying to almost force it to go up on the same plane as my irons, and that's why I was hitting down on it and cutting low ones.
Yes. Completely agree.
Okay, so those numbers aren't looking too bad either. Club speed's actually quite low for me for my driver, 102. Going after that one.
There's 106.
Okay. Lost my balance a bit and I'm not quite warmed up.
I don't see many people 112, 113, 114, 115 on track now. If I go like this for you, watch this. There's a tour player. He's at 111. Bernard Wiesberger, considered long, 113. Dave Horsey, short, 105. Molinari, 110. 110. 109. 108. Kevin Nahr, 112. Matthew Barnett, 113. Richard Lee, 108.
When this driver was fitted for me, it was 109.
Shaft's too soft.
Right.
I'd overload that shaft and I can only get 107, 108. I think you're going to comfortably swing it 104 to 106. Right? You've just seen there the tall players who hit it way over 300 yards all the time.
Carry.
With run. Their totals are 310, 312s and stuff like that. Yeah? So forget in America and your Rories and your DJs of the world, how many people truly carry the ball over 300 yards all the time?
Well, hardly any.
Yeah, hardly any, I have to agree with you. Because it's a lot of club head speed. But if you're carrying 280 and it's running out to 310, 312, right? That's going to be 110, 111, 112, 113. They're the club head speeds. We've just seen there's a guy on David Horsey who's won 4 times on tour with 105, playing tour length golf courses, turned pro off +5. So my question is, Do you need to swing it any faster than 106?
Absolutely not.
You already hit it long enough to play at on the golf courses you want to play at and compete at.
That's
The goal's to get to scratch.
Yes.
I showed you a lad at the start who's off +4. He just shot 66 above the course record yesterday in open qualifying and won open qualifying against all the pros. And he's only 19. And he's off +4 and he swings it 1.9 to 1.11. Okay? So he's 4 shots better than where you want to get to eventually.
With a couple of extra miles an hour of club head speed. So it's
So
not,
you
that's not
don't-
the deciding factor, is it?
Doesn't make any difference.
No.
Doesn't make one jot of difference to you achieving your goal.
No.
That's what you have to remember is, what's the goal?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And what do I need to do to achieve that goal? Well, you don't need more club head speed. Do you need to be more efficient? Definitely. Can we lower your spin rate? Definitely. Would I suggest you get fitted again? Definitely. I don't fit people, but I can tell you that you could get another 15 yards out of a better driver.
And obviously I
Without
chose-
increasing your club head speed.
Yeah, okay, fine. So without increasing club head speed over, let's say, an average of 105.
Yeah.
Is that because it would have a longer shaft?
The heads now, although the COR isn't faster, the ball comes off hot.
Hotter than this older model.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really spinny, that head. All of the older heads are spinnier
More spinning.
than the new heads.
Right.
If you had in here now an M2 or an Epic, okay, you get more distance.
So I was going to ask you this question for the sake of the video and for my own interest. Is it worth spending 400, 500 quid on something like an Epic?
I think every 4 to 5 years you should change your driver. Okay?
So this is due an upgrade.
Most definitely.
How exciting. As far as numbers are concerned then, for me, obviously we want to be hitting on the upstroke and we want to try and make it as efficient as possible, and obviously we want to get the smash factor as near to 1.5 consistently as we can, because that's hitting it out the middle. So even with a slightly lower club head speed, that still means you're getting the maximum out of the shot that you possibly can.
100%.
Let's say with an average swing speed of 105, with a
Yeah.
smash factor of 1.5, that means a ball speed of, let's say, 155, doesn't it? Approximately.
Yeah.
Or
Faster than that.
160.
157.
What sort of spin would you like to see with that?
2.3, 2.4 for you.
Okay, so no more than 2.5.
Yeah, no more than 2.6.
No more than 2.6,
2.6
no
at
less than
most.
2?
No less than 2.21. If you could get it in that ballpark, you'll put 15 yards on.
Yeah, okay.
But I think the head will make a big difference.
Yeah.
Because you look at some of your numbers here, you started to get some good stuff. I think the shaft's a bit weak for you.
What, I'm loading it too much?
I just think that the way the loft's changing through impact, when you're in the middle.
My swings felt different every time though.
Okay. Well, your best swing today then. Let's go off that one. 256 in the air.
Yep.
17.8 aloft. It's still spinning at 3,000.
Okay.
You know, that.
So we want
There you go.
no more than 2.6.
You look at that. It's still gone too high.
So what's the height on that?
125 feet.
And that's too high. So we want a more penetrating.
It wants that lower and the spin rate lower and the launch down a little bit.
So that's ballooning a bit.
So you're losing 10 yards.
Okay.
I said 15 on you got on the lot. I think 15 you can get.
Yeah. My angle of attack coming up, what sort of degree are we looking at? Sort of 1 to 2?
Anyway,
Is there an ideal?
no more than 5. Anywhere between 1 and 4 would be alright then.
Okay.
High handicapper definitely wants to be up on it.
Okay, so high handicappers definitely hit up on it.
100%. Really low handicappers, yeah, you want it up a little bit, but you can get away with being down dependent on your club head speed. You can see on the tour, the average is between, somewhere between 1 degree down and 1.5 degrees up is right in that ballpark of what they're doing.
Tug.
How far flying from
Now that's interesting actually, I don't know. 10 yards?
Max, yeah.
So it's not a bit of a tug? No. got enough room in the fairway to accept that. Yeah.
He's even hit the fairways at the US Open this year. That's in the middle of any fairway you play, apart from if you play an Open Championship golf course where they've made one particularly narrow. And even then, the fairway would have to be narrower than 20 yards for you to miss it.
Right.
And they don't tend to do them very often.
So this takeaway, am I going below plane here? Now that I'm doing this for more
Honestly, no, you're not.
No? Good. And hopefully I'm getting rid of that cupping in my left wrist at the top as well.
Yes. So get yourself leaning back to the right, get the body behind the ball, turn, stay behind it. There we are. There's your draw. 3 degrees up. Carried it 253, 104 club head speed, but you compare that to it at the start, 4.6 down at the start to 3.1 up.
Okay, so massive difference.
Obviously spin's too high.
Yeah.
So it's
What
getting
do you think's causing that? Is that the club head then, we think?
I'd say the rest of those numbers are good. I
So-
don't fit people, but I'd say those numbers are good, and I think a change in drive would change all of those things.
Awesome, okay. Now, you just sounded very pleased that I've just hit a slight draw there, like a sort of 5 to 10 yard baby draw.
I know that's what you said you were happy with,
That's what I used to play with my driver.
and that's when you said you drove it the best. So if you drove it your best with that, I have no issues. You're hitting a little draw, as long as it's not uncontrollable.
Okay, but is that not going to confuse me when I'm trying to hit a fade with everything
Well,
else?
no, because you think about it. If your driver swing, when you're further away from it, it's going to be more rounded, isn't it? The hardest club to hit a true fade with is a driver.
And that's what I've been struggling with, because I've really been trying to hit down, you know, sort of compress it, cut across it, that whole feeling of hitting a fade like a tight cut with my irons, really spinny control.
It's a lot easier to hit. I find it's a lot easier with a lot of guys to hit a bit of a cut with the iron. The driver, you're further away from it, the swing plane's going to get shallower. It's a lot easier to hit and naturally hit a very slight little draw. Now, obviously, we could then get you to stand open and hit a fade from here, but let's get you keeping it in play all the
Okay, fine. So that then we're talking about shaping your shots, which is a
Yes.
slightly different subject.
Yes.
Maybe driver lesson part 2.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, Pete, so what we've done is at address, we've got that upper body leaning to the right a lot more over here, so you're a lot more angle behind the ball with the spine. The idea then is that you're going to try and get the left shoulder to stretch across behind the ball as much as you can, which will give you the ability to hit up on the ball a lot more. You can see here you're a lot more behind the ball. Have a look from down the line, we can see that the shoulders are turning, you're in much better address position, and you're actually getting way more behind the ball, and the club is on a shallower angle. Now, having a quick look at your numbers, let's just narrow these into here to fill the screen. Okay, so we can see that to start off with, you're 4.6 down on it. Now at the end, you are 3.1 up. So this is a huge difference in terms of attack angle. Okay, everything else has started to change a little bit with it, hitting it more out the middle. Smash factor has gone up to 1.5. Obviously, it wasn't bad at 1.49. It's pretty good there. Club head speed at 104. I think just changing driver may help with those spin rate numbers. On the way through, the idea then from the front view was that the lower body could go forwards, head stays behind the ball, therefore you're then hitting up on it a lot more. What was happening at the start was you had your hands too far forwards and the ball too far forwards in the stance, and your upper body was leaning to the target, so from address everything was compromised in terms of making the correct motion.
So guys, I hope you found that informative. Sorry it was a bit of a long one. Again, thank you very much indeed for watching. Please do leave a comment or a question in the section below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I very much look forward to seeing you in one of my next videos. Take care.